Excuse me. Taxi.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
Well, that is the theme, John, from NYPD Blue.
I want to report a robbery.
I know what you're going to say, because I know you.
There's not enough common sense in the world.
Yes.
That's been robbed.
The common sense has been robbed. Somebody put something in our brains, and in the last maybe it's a part of COVID. Maybe they gave us something in the COVID that robbed common sense. I mean, it's got to be something. Have you ever seen so many nutty people in the world?
There are a lot of nutty people. And the latest is, I'm going to get right to it, this judge.
By the way, I want to thank all the people in
Not the judge
studio.
in the studio.
Well, thank you very much.
All the people in the studio, Judge Richard Weinberg, Governor David Patterson, and a special guest.
Absolutely. Norman Seabrook, of course, who was president of the Corrections Officers Benevolent Association.
Thank you so much.
And we love it. I love you wearing a bright color, too. We love that, Norm. And also, we have Governor Patterson. So let's do an applause for our wonderful guys in studio. I love that.
Hey!
And now, I want to know, do we have a boo? Because we definitely should be booing this judge.
The judge in the Bronx. The judge in the Bronx, Judge Guy Mitchell.
Disgraceful, who used to work at the New York Attorney General's office and in the Virgin Islands. Maybe he had too many margaritas or something in the Virgin Islands, but I'm telling you, disgrace that he actually has sentenced the NYPD Sergeant Eric Duran to 3 to 9 years in prison for making what I believe was a good faith decision to stop who was a drug dealer who was on the run. It was that Cooler case. Judge Weinberg, what's wrong with judges?
Could I answer a different question?
No.
I can tell you what's wrong with this case.
Yes.
He never should have been convicted of manslaughter 2. If anything, he should have been convicted of criminal negligent homicide, a lesser charge, and he wasn't even guilty of that. And as David Patterson, that esteemed governor, and I were talking about before we came on in studio, the answer is it's inconsistent verdicts. It makes no sense. This man was defending other police officers from a guy going the wrong way, 30 miles an hour on the street, could hit pedestrians, other police officers. He had a good affirmative defense in the traditional sense, protecting other people. There was no intent here. To show that this was reckless is a foolish decision. And for this judge in the sentencing to say he's trying to send a message to other police officers, maybe you ought to send a message to the people who are breaking the law and running down the street on motorcycles 30 miles an hour after doing a drug deal. How about sending a message to them?
Yeah, it is disgraceful. What do you think, Governor Patterson? Because if you look at the history of this guy, he was speeding away, I believe, right on a motorbike in the wrong direction, where officers were making another stop. And to me, I know we talked about this earlier, but if you're not sure what's going on, you should be giving deference to the officer. The officer has to make a split-second decision, and nobody understands that better than Norm, who's sitting here also. But how disgraceful that this judge came out and said it's a deterrent for what other officers trying to protect other officers, Governor?
What I think it is a deterrent is for people who want to become officers and realize that the same kind of thing could happen to them. The reality is that the judge basically has created a situation now where I really think there's got to be some further action taken on this case from somewhere.
Governor, you haven't been governor in a few years. If you were governor right now, what would you do?
I would have either commuted his sentence immediately so he didn't serve time and then just left the charges the way they were, or I would have pardoned him.
Right.
I think that is the smartest thing I ever heard.
I agree.
Norm Seabrook, what do you think? You think the governor's doing the right thing?
I think that Governor Patterson is saying the right thing, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Do I think that the governor's doing the right thing?
We'll find out.
Sorry.
You have any pardon certificates left from the old days?
Yeah, can you pass them on?
I've got a few.
Do you think she will? I mean, I agree with the governor. It would send a very powerful message that you're going to back our men and women in blue.
I think that, and I have a certain perspective on this, Rita, if I may. The This has been an environment that was created by the Bill de Blasio administration.
And by the way, this judge was appointed by Bill de Blasio, I believe also. What a surprise.
And I think that the community is overwhelmed asking for help for all the gun violence and the young black and colorful kids that get killed on the streets in New York City. They want help. And now these police officers show up to give them help. Okay. And something goes wrong. This police sergeant did not expect this to happen. I believe, as being a former law enforcement officer, that he meant to stop him. He did not mean for this to get out of control to the point of this happening and then resulting in his death. I also think that when the judge remanded the police sergeant to custody of the New York City Department of Correction, it's incumbent upon the Department of Correction right now to move that police officer because he is in danger. He is absolutely in danger. So you move him and you put him in the Bellevue Hospital that you just opened up that has room for 140 people. There's only 14 of them there right now. Put him there. Let him be supervised until the appeal process goes through or whatever the case may be. Take him out of harm's way. I don't think that this police officer meant to kill this person. And I don't think for 1 minute that the people in the community are not sounding off because these kids getting killed in the streets of the city, we need help. And then you send the police, and then the guy is out on the street before the police finishes the paperwork. So I'm sorry for the death.
Yeah, everybody is,
yes,
of course.
Sorry for the death, but at the end of the day, we have to go forward.
All right, Judge Weinberg. Good points, Norm.
Number one, if I was the judge trying this case, remember this was a bench trial. There's no jury.
Oh, now you're going to talk about judges?
No, I'll talk about.
Okay.
I'll talk about this case. I would have acquitted him on both counts. Number two, if he was convicted, there's no reason with his roots to the community, with his diligent service all these years, an honored police officer, that you have to remand him. I would let him out pending the appeal. I would never remand him under these circumstances.
You know what I find
he's not a flight risk.
I agree. And I think what's so disgusting, and I'm just speaking as a layman in this case, you guys. And
I thought you were a lay woman.
Yeah, thank you. A lay person. Remember? Lay person.
As we said in Brooklyn, lay poison.
Yeah, lay poison. Okay, good. I was born in Brooklyn, so that's okay. So here we go. And we're looking at the language of this judge. And I found that extraordinary that the judge is out there saying it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent to what? It's a deterrent to law enforcement to try to do the best they can. I mean, what message does that send, Norm Seabrook?
It sends a very bad signal because what you're doing is you're tying the hands of police officers and you're making them second guess themselves when their life depends on it and the person's life that they're trying to save depends on it. The last thing that you want to do is begin to say, wait a minute, if I do this, this judge is going to do that, or I could get in trouble for this. And you have to be conscious of that. This job of law enforcement is not an easy job. It's a very stressful job. It's a job that comes with a lot of responsibilities. And at the end of the day, this police sergeant took 50 guns off the street. He's been a hero in the community. There's nobody that had paperwork on him that he was a bad guy or anything else. So at the end of the day, you got to look at the person and not just look at what you think the law says.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's tough enough already to be a cop. You think about all the stuff that they're dealing with the defunding and the thought of being pulled into internal affairs and qualified immunity. And then you got this.
Wrong conviction, wrong sentence, wrong everything about this.
Absolutely. Real quick, Gov.
I just really feel a great deal of pain that a person would spend years in prison for a split-second decision that they made and had never encountered that kind of thing before. And
trying to protect other officers and the public.
And the one thing that we really need to remember about this is the story today. Everybody feels bad for what happened to the police officer and that kind of thing. There are ways to set this straight. And I think those who can have any kind of authority there should really think about it, because my rule for myself when I was in that position is do what's right and roll the dice.
Yeah, and in this case, again, I go back. They should have understood how tough it is to be a police officer these days and look at the person, like you said, Norm. Well, you guys, we're going to be talking with Vinnie Valalong, who's head of the Sergeants Benevolent Association, in just a few minutes.